Are we on yet? Okay, cool.
You're on.
Good morning, good afternoon, or evening, friends, depending where you are. Where I am, it's 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I'm Emily Windsor-Craig, and this is History Reset, brought to you each Saturday or Sunday by People's Internet Radio, whom I and others sponsor to bring valuable information to the public. Valuable information that corporate hierarchies refuse to divulge. This program is a public service, but you're welcome to please donate to People's Internet Radio to keep the truth coming at you and without commercial adverts. Today, our topic is the adoption of evil by empires beginning at Babylon, and I refer you to the treatise by Bishop Alexander Hislop that he wrote in 1858, The Two Babylons, How Imperial Ethics Saturated the Church and the State. All right, and so today it's going to be a slideshow. All right, we're going to walk through some links that are on my own website, holyconservancy.org. And the first one is the short course on the Mosaic Law, what modern Israel isn't living up to. All right, and this, a lot of people don't realize it, but the Mosaic Law is the precedent for common laws of the land that even now are being held up as a good example of do no harm and justice and fairness, okay? And so this is my particular summary of the laws, and let's, I'll go past all the worship stuff. That's not what I'm here to look at. But I'm here to look at the creation of a community, all right? To mark, assemble, to live the law, to record, verbalize, express, and support your community. And what are the responsibilities of community in a culture where thriving and doing good and being good people and being responsive and helpful to each other is what is valued, okay? And some of the topics, some of the categories of topics are to carry responsibility, permit no harm, be sufficient, role model, exercise mercy, endow charity, grant loans, take pledges, chasten people when they do wrong, work and labor, slave for the cause, and sanctify, which means to make the community safe, all right? And as far as children are concerned, you teach your children the ethics of your community, all right? You don't let other people teach your children their ethics. You teach your children your ethics. As far as communicable diseases, you keep your community clean, all right? There's ritual, purity, and sanitation, all right? You create a sanitation department and you do your business away from populations and away from food, and you keep your whole self clean. You do not cheat outsiders, all right? You treat outsiders the same way as you treat your own people, except if they don't behave properly, you throw them out, you expel them, all right? You don't mistreat animals. You don't allow cruelty. You do not exploit and exhaust the land. You have dietary laws so that the people aren't eating junk, okay? You have behavior, good behavior for marriage, divorce, and family. Do not abuse relationships, all right? And there are times and work and times for rest. Everybody's expected to carry their own weight, all right? So they have holidays, all right? That's the civil aspect of governance that we have been told and taught all this time, but that for some century or so now, let me get this next one up. For some century now, we haven't been getting what we told we were entitled to. And in the case of, in the case of the nation of Israel, which claims to be following the Mosaic Law, let's look at today's population of Israelis on the image called Israel.png, your next picture. I just found this a few days ago, all right? It points out that secular Israelis, Muslim Israelis, Druze and Christians make up about 59% of the Israel population. And I know from personal experience that secular Jews consider religion to be the opiate of the people, and so they have no reason to take the laws, the Mosaic laws, seriously, all right? And so there are 41% religious Jews in Israel, and of those, there's a segment that utilize the Talmud and not just the Torah. And the Talmud brings in the teachings of Babylon, the teachings of the empire, the teachings of the two-headed eagle. What's the two-headed eagle? All right, let's look at the two-headed eagle, double-eagle.png. The countries that have a two-headed eagle on their flag are countries from the East. They are countries that were part of the Ottoman Empire and the Tartarian Empire and part of the Masonic empire of occult teachings. And in their metaphysics, okay, the eagle has it faces two ways. It faces to the right, toward the light, and faces to the left, toward the darkness. And I asked a soldier one time, because I noticed that the US Army has its flag and its eagle is only looking to the left. And I wondered, wow, why is the Army's flag only looking to the left? And he said to me, because what we do is war. What we do is secret. We are part of the dark side, all right? So the countries that have a two-headed eagle value and live by and behave according to both the light looking to the right and the dark looking to the left. And that's very different from the Mosaic Law. The Mosaic Law is only looking toward the truth and toward the right to get a good outcome, to thrive the people, so that everybody in the community is decent and truth-telling. See where I'm going with this? So next, let's look at the picture called iatrogenics, all right? And in the United States today, this is 2013, 6 years ago, but in the United States today, medical error is the third most common cause of death in the United States. 250,000 people each year die of medical error, and another 41% die of suicide. That proved to me that whoever is leading and running the United States of America is operating from the two-headed eagle, because basically medical error and mistakes being fatal are a cost to our society, which shouldn't occur if the medical profession is operating from the paradigm of Hippocrates, which was to say, do no harm. See what I'm saying? All right. So we live in a Western governing situation which isn't just looking to the right, isn't just looking toward the truth, toward thriving our people, toward the honesty and integrity of our Abrahamic seed, of our Bible, of our culture, of our Constitution, which stated as its objective that everyone should have the chance to seek happiness. So what's going on here? Well, let's take a look at some of the bad methods. Okay, some of the bad methods. Bad methods work against everyone. And remember that the left, the ones who have adopted the treachery and tyranny of the, I guess you'd say, the communist, fascist movement, globalist movement, okay, they believe that taking everything down, taking civil society down, is the only way you can fix anything. That's the only way you can fix what's wrong with society, is to destroy it, all right? And so let's take a look at some of the methods. The end justifies the means method that the left and the Democratic Party and the global network of rich tech robber barons are pursuing in and on our world right now. Okay. In the treaties, I've talked about the treaties, that the treaty that Eisenhower signed allowed ETs to continue to abduct, cannibalize, disappear, and kidnap human beings. And there was the Roe versus Wade law that makes it okay, it's not murder, to kill newborn beings, okay? Next, abuse, contaminate, employ cruelty, and ignore. Those methods, abusing and contaminating and ignoring problems, have to do with the lack of jurisdiction of common laws, the common laws that we saw under the Mosaic Law, over corporations and what corporations are able to do in their pursuit of profit, okay? In their pursuit of profit, what's profitable is addiction, okay? Is big pharma's producing drugs that sidetrack healing, malpractice, iatrogenics, and the harm that drugs and the drug trafficking combines create in our world that we haven't been able to defeat because the source of the harm is not subject to the common law. Next, annihilate, blackmail, erase, martyr, and scapegoat. For some reason, the leaders in the West believe that they have the civil right to go into other countries and just bomb the hell out of other countries. Never mind what happens to the people. And then the people become migrants that come back to the West as hostile migrants with the intention under the Kalergi plan, all right, and the, what do you call it? Colvin-Pivy doctrine, to simply overturn and replace the civil governments that existed up till now. That's the methods of the neocons. Next, apathy, the harping and the preaching and the dogma and the sensationalism and the vilification of people who are trying to solve problems. These are the techniques of our current fourth estate journalism, who are not paying much attention to what's true, but who are paid off and bribed to tell a Hegelian dialectic about every topic, every conflict, every dispute, every event quickly becomes polarized into a dialectic which says this is true and this is false. This is true and this is false. This is right and this is wrong. And the dialectic, even in the case of the recent disappearance or murder of this Mr. Epstein, have you noticed how many people are coming out and saying it's a conspiracy, he's alive, no, he's dead, here's the, you know, the autopsy report. There are conflicting accounts of the actual facts involved just to keep the pot stirred. Understand what I'm saying? The fourth estate, journalism, is busy stirring the pot in sensationalism and keeping us, the people, from actually knowing what is true. Let's look at the next line. Bribe, divide, network by race, class, and ideology. Okay, this is also part of the fourth estate journalism, to keep us divided by race, divided by class, and divided by ideology. All right, on the more personal level, down on the street, between the protesters and law enforcement, we see a lot of bullying, deception, divisions, and doctrines and dogmas to mind rape and fool people into their either belief that they are safe or belief that they are in somehow in danger. Okay, so the codification and the collusion and the conspiracies and the secreting of information has become perfectly legal in law. It's become perfectly legal in law to lie in news reports and lie in court cases. All right? At the level of academia, contradictions and dogma shout down the people who believe they know what is true. Contradictions and dogma dominates and allows perspectives to sell out to one interest or another. Contradictions and dogma are what our churches utilize as the programming techniques to get people to believe or not believe in a intelligent, reasonable creator God. All right. And so the movement of high tech, the high tech robber barons, okay, are rich, very wealthy men, thanks to the gaming of Wall Street, and they work to deplatform and silence the journalists who tell what's true. All right? They divide by age, divide by culture, divide by gender, divide by race. Okay, my experience of dividing by age, I find that young people I encounter on the street are so reluctant to have a conversation with me because they realize we speak different varieties of English, that they avoid even saying good morning. All right? Next, how are the corporations, what are their corporations basing their bottom line profit upon? They now employ vices, all right? Surveillance, okay? War profiteering and logistics and armaments and security companies and all kinds of safety nets and protection rackets are the rule, so that people are employing vices in order to make a living. And because the media is so saturated in the method of the end justifies the means, all right, there is a neglect of virtues even from the churches. The churches don't talk about virtues. They talk about the safety net, believe in Jesus and everything will be all right. Believe in Jesus and you'll be raptured and it doesn't matter what your behavior is. This is the way they have stupefied us, and they get us to trigger each other. In the psychological domain, all right, people who have opinions are now categorized as being mentally ill just simply for their opinions. If you have a strong opinion about something, all of a sudden now you're a narcissist. And if you're a pushover liberal that doesn't see anything compelling about truth, you become an empath. And if you're really afraid of what you see before your eyes, you become, what do you call it? Not psychopathic. When you're really, really scared, right? And if you make yourself sick trying to be good enough, you're obsessive compulsive. Okay, they have names for all of the feelings and fears that are coming up because the methods that are in use to keep everything under control are so uncivil. And so what we experience is that everybody's in debt, everybody's enslaved to their clock and to their monetary situation. The hospitals are utilizing the parts of the dead to sell to the living, and kids are being trafficked in sex trafficking now in this country the way that it has always been done in imperial Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Rome. The civil culture has reverted to an imperial ethos in which loose kids are just consumable products, all right? Next, gaslighting, all right? Call a corporation and ask them for a help with a problem, and they're going to tell you it's not their job. It's not their business. Go look in the yellow pages, all right? Online, Nazism, Notseeism, is used to censor politically incorrect, politically unpopular views. And the political correctness is rationalized every which way but Saturday, okay? All of the mistakes and the bad effects of bad governance get rationalized and buried under charges that are trivial, okay? In the meantime, a recession is now being threatened. The bankruptcies continue. There are more empty houses than there are homeless people. And the ones who are homeless are isolated and they're rendered vulnerable and sick, all right? Next, the gaming that's going on to promote insurance schemes, lotteries, and protection rackets, all right? The jails and prisons are now profit centers for private investors, all right? And proxy wars are promoted to garner resources for corporations, never mind the populations who live with the resources, and never mind the integrity of the corporations that want to go gobble up someone else's rare minerals or diamonds or something. See what I'm saying? Advertising, bad methods. They promote consumption and duplication. Their waste and pollution propagates and collects, and there's nobody to clean it up. Next, children. Because parents are all working, children get mind raped, physically raped, and terrorized because most of them are latchkey kids. Some children are stalked. Some kids are committing suicide. Some kids are targeted. I was targeted as a child. I have never been simply treated by the medical profession. I've always been gaslit, blown off, and told there's nothing wrong with me. Then there's the financial markets. in which stock market and venture capital gaming stages our economy for us so that only certain people garner advantages and get rich. They also stage the bank failures to keep the working people poor, to keep the hostile migrants flowing over the border, and to keep the terror events on a schedule. You see, bad methods work against everyone, particularly when bad methods become legal or too difficult to prosecute under common law. I also notice that the bad methods include in this whole Hegelian dialectic picture the propagation and encouragement of hatred. And so what I thought I would do today is look at what Scripture has to say. What did God have to say about hatred that that we need to learn from? Because truly, oh dear, all right, hatred. Proverbs 6:16 through 19. I had that and I lost it. Oh well, let's go find it again. Proverbs 6:16 through 19. You want to call God a renegade, a madman? Well, let's listen to the values that Scripture places on the integrity of the Creator. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brothers. See what I'm saying? The bad methods are what God hates. And so we have to deal with the fact that the methods for economy, the methods for education, the methods for journalism, the methods for setting 2 forms of law against each other, the methods of treating the sick, the methods of treating children, the methods of treating the aged, the methods of calming fears, resolving problems, conflicts, and disputes. Those methods have deteriorated to the point we no longer live in a civil society. And all of the claims that our leaders are making that they're trying to fix the problem because their methods have deteriorated into uncivil gaming against people. Those methods are going to have to get fixed one way or another, or we're never going to be a civil country again. Now, I don't know if you want a civil country where the people who get a good outcome are the people who do good things, and the people that do bad things get disrupted, corrected, and put back on a path to doing good things. Now, I realize China is making a serious effort to get their people to do good things. They even have social media which keep track of the individual's every act, every action, in order to get all the people to do good things. I don't know what life is like in China. I'm not there. But their leadership at least understands the principle that if you want a good outcome for your nation, you have to encourage the one-headed ego that looks toward the light and doing the right thing and saying the true thing and being responsible according to your actions and not just tickling your head with doctrines. See what I'm saying? All right, so I've only gotten a half an hour into this, and I'm going to check with my producer, Steve, and see if he's ready to bring on some of the folks at People's Internet Radio so that we can discuss this. For you at Facebook, you'll find us now at People's Internet Radio. And thank you so much for coming by.